This is the new iPod mini I bought. And I bought it under the condition that it has a bad drive or bad file system. So we're gonna see what happens. I have the flash mod for it, and we're gonna see how this goes. The first thing I'm gonna try is syncing and restoring it, and well, turning it on, because I haven't tried that yet. But so take the hold switch off, plug it in with the 30 pin, and it boots, which is good. This is the iPod mini. I think this one's a Gen 1. It's got the monochrome screen. So it's charging, which is good. I don't know if I'm gonna have to leave it plugged in for a little while or not. But it's plugged in. It hasn't shown up on the computer or anything yet. So I might have to leave it plugged in for a little while, I guess, and let it charge. But I went after the mini because of how easy it is to modify. It's easier than a lot of the classics, and definitely a lot easier than the nanos. The only experience I've had messing around with iPods is this nano first gen, which is the easiest nano to modify, and we found it in storage with the battery swelled up big enough that it popped the case right off the back. So we soldered a new battery in it, and I've been using this. I installed Rockbox on it, which is custom firmware, just to try it out, because eventually I would like to play FLACs with it, which are lossless audio, and you need more storage, which is why I am gonna flash mod. This is I had a 64 gigabyte SD card kicking around, so I got an SD card adapter, SD to CF card adapter rather, and these just plug right into the hard drive port in the iPod. So it's very easy to flash mod these. I forgot to order a battery though, which is not good because it's a 20-year-old battery. But this just, I don't know if you saw, but this just showed it had the bad drive error, so it won't connect to the computer. So I'm gonna unplug it and put the hold switch back on, and then actually, and I shut it off. Yeah, okay. So now I'll put the hold switch back on, and now we can tear it down. So the first thing is these plastic bezels on the top and the bottom need to come off, which I don't have an iPod opening tool, so hopefully what I have will work good enough, or I can find something that'll work good enough. I'm not too worried about scratching this because it's a little dented and scratched already. So let me see if I can find something that'll work. Okay, so I found some stuff that might work. I'm not super worried about damaging this because it's already kind of damaged. But these are held on with adhesive end clips, so they kind of come off slightly difficultly, which I might just start at the bottom. The bottom looks easier. I might as well figure that out first. Yeah, there we go. Ooh. Well, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, this knife is not a good idea, I guess. I don't think I have anything really fine enough. Oh, actually, that was better. I think if I can get this open wide enough to get one of my other tools down in there, maybe a guitar pick. The one thing with the bottom is the click wheel ribbon is down here. On the left, on the right side actually. So you have to be careful about that. Oh, here it comes. Yeah, see, there's adhesive and these clips in here, which I don't like the adhesive. So I think I only really messed up one little clip, I think. But I have some adhesive I can put back in here. Actually, I messed up more than one clip, but I have some adhesive I can put back in there. So that's the bottom bezel off. So I guess I gotta try to mess around with this top bezel and get it off. Which, actually, this side is beaten up if I can get the knife in here a little bit. Because this side's already kind of messed up. Because I didn't buy one in perfect condition. Because I got this one for like 20 bucks. Actually, that guitar pick slid in there nicely. Now if I can, oh. See if I got anything better I can use. Actually, let's get it. Ah, it's too big. Let's try this one I 3D printed. No, that's too big too. Try one of these again. Oh, now there's a piece of... Oh. Oh. Do I have another guitar pick somewhere? Yes. Maybe these guitar picks will be a little bit nicer. I just had cheap ones there. Let me get this piece of other guitar pick out of here. Hang on. Okay, so these pliers will help me with this at least. Because I don't want this piece of guitar pick getting bouncing around in there while I'm trying to get this top cap off. I prefer not to damage any of the internals. So I think it doesn't help that this top is a little dented and makes it a little more difficult to do. Oh. There goes the guitar pick. But I think I can get it eventually. I don't know if this guitar pick is too thick. I think I also have to be careful of the screen. Because the screen's right here. But, I should have bought one of those iPod opening tools, but whatever. My guitar pick's different. Actually, a heat gun might help. I'll mess around with this a little more and see if I need a heat gun. The heat gun should soften the adhesive. So, actually I'm going to try that. I found the heat gun. So the heat gun can help soften the adhesive, but you gotta be careful not to get it too hot, obviously, because it's sensitive. So I think I'll keep my hands here, because if I burn my hands, it's probably too hot. And that's pretty warm, so let's see if this helped at all with softening the adhesive. Which is it's still being difficult, I guess. Oops. So these guitar picks just bend. I don't know if I can get anything else in here. Might do a little bit better. Actually, this one might fit in here now. Yeah. As long as I don't slip this one out, we should be good. Oh, there's the adhesive coming. I gotta be careful because this hold switch. Oh, here we go. Here comes the top bezel. Luckily the plastic's a little bit flexible. That makes a big difference. And there's the top bezel, which is the hold switch and headphone jack. So there's the top bezel off. I don't know how well you can see in there, but you can see the adhesive. So next step is this little circlip on the bottom, this circlip thing. So on the left side there, you have to be careful of the oh, those are too big. You have to be careful of the ribbon cable for the click wheel. So I need better tweezers, but let me see if I can find some. See if some of these ends for those will fit into the hole, and if they do, I'll probably use them. Yeah, those are perfect. So if I can get these in there and give it, yeah, see, there's one side, and I don't think these will go in too deep and get the ribbon cable. No, they didn't. So there's a little circlip off. This holds the guts in from the bottom. So there's the bottom. The next step is to very gently, from side to side, rock this ribbon cable off, because it's the ribbon cables tend to be very fragile. So if you just slowly rock this off from side to side here, just like this, it should come free. So there's a little ribbon cable out. So now to get the guts out, there's two pH0 screws on the top of this, so those need to be removed, and they're pretty small, so don't lose them. And now, once I got gloves on, so I can't grab those, but once those screws are out, you can carefully push up on the guts. Tool would be better. Actually, that's too big. But you can push up on the gut and slide them out of the top of the device. So now you have the shell with the quick wheel in it, which we will get to later, because I'm going to laser engrave the back of it. So I'm going to take the click wheel and everything out. But we got the shell with the click wheel. And then we've got the rest of the iPod. So there's the screen. And then on right here on the back, which is where I'm going to mess around, is the battery and the micro drive, the hard drive that they had in these. So there's a little bit of adhesive on the battery. And then we need to carefully, don't pull on the headphone jacked outer board like I just did. So there's the battery disconnected. And next is this hard drive. So I'm going to take this tape off, which is holding, these tweezers kind of suck. I'm going to take this tape off, which is holding the rubber bumper onto the micro drive. Because I don't want to remove the motherboard side of the cable, because it can be more easily damaged than the hard drive side of the cable. So these rubber bumper tape has to come off, mainly on the front, because the cable is captured underneath this tape. So I gotta try to get this off. Which, there. Now this side is free. So I mainly have to focus on getting the rubber bumper off the front corners, because see how that ribbon cable was underneath? I need to get at that. And these hard drives actually are really cool because they use, well, for one thing, they're tiny, but they also use a CF card interface, which is an old style of like USB hard drive basically. The modern equivalent of a CF card would be an SD card, which is what I got that adapter for. So now that that's out, the little micro drive is free. Since this doesn't work anyway, I'm gonna take the rubber bumpers off. And I don't really need these rubber bumpers for the SD card. I have some double-sided tape to stick it down to the board with, but this little micro drive, you can see the CF card interface there. And then I think these were originally designed by Toshiba, but they started being produced by Hitachi and somebody else to be put in these iPods. But the actual platter inside is only 1.8 inches, and they can only fit, I think they only got as big as 8 gigs throughout their lifetime. So now we've got the basically bare iPod mini board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I have the tape right here. But what I'm going to do is double-sided tape the CF card adapter to the board. Then I'm going to plug in the battery and see if it boots. So this first bit of tape is kind of ruined because it sat in the bag. So I should only need a little bit of this tape to go on the board here. Put it at a diagonal just just so it fits, because I got too big of a piece. So now this, which is the CF card to SD card adapter and the micro SD card, I taped the micro SD card in so it doesn't fall out, and the actual SD card has a lock so it won't come out. So this just has to get, before I stick it down, this has to get plugged in to this interface, which is kind of being a pain because it's on a ribbon cable, but and then I can line it up with the edges of the board and carefully stick it down. Actually, the double-sided tape is better than I thought. So there, so the flash card is in. I'm done with the tape and stuff for now. So now this battery, I don't think I'll need to double-sided tape this. So this battery will get plugged in and put right here. For now, just kind of held in place. And I'm gonna get the click wheel out of this shell because, like I said, I want to laser it. So what you do is you just push down. You push it down into the case and push it down out the bottom. And if you keep pressure on it, it shouldn't scuff the click wheel, which this click wheel is kind of in bad condition anyway. So there's the empty shell. I'm gonna do a design on the back. I'll probably video that as well, but there it is. I'll also clean this before I reassemble it when I get to that point. But this is the click wheel. This was the first iPod to have this click wheel, I think. And they moved all of them over to this click wheel shortly after. So it's touch, so you can scroll on it, and then you click each button for function. So I'm going to carefully plug this back in just so I can see if I can get it to boot here. So I'm going to I'm going to lay this in between so it doesn't short on any components on the board, and then I'm going to plug it into the computer with this. Oh, so that is good. Flash the support. So now I will show you the computer here. So here's the computer, and it says there's an iPod in recovery mode, which is good because I have to restore it. This is supposed to happen so I can restore and update. Read all the terms and stuff, and then it will restore it. And I should be okay. So actually I need to get, hang on. So I need to unplug it from the computer and then plug it into the wall, I guess. So in just a second, I need a USB brick. Okay, so I found a USB brick. So it said to unplug it from the computer and plug it into the power adapter, which actually is it gonna do what I want it to do? No. So You plug it back into the computer, I guess. So sometimes you have to play around with DMBR. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I figured out how to do this. So I found a Reddit post that explains what I should do. I have to edit the SD card's boot sector. So I need to restore it through iTunes. So I should plug it in and it should recognize it, whatever. Restore it. And then I can disconnect it when it says to. So now I have to take the SD card out of the adapter. Which actually I should shut this down first. So I'll shut it. Okay, it's apparently boot looping, but so if I do the hold switch, then I won't wake it up. At least it might wake itself up. But so now I have to pull the SD card adapter out, which hopefully this tape will re-stick here. I have to pull this SD card out, just tape on it is not helping. So I'd pull that out. I won't stick that back down. And now I have to read this card to the reader, so I need to go get my reader. Okay, so I got my SD card reader. Actually, I'm gonna use this one. So put that into there. Bring it over to the computer. Plug this in right here. I can ignore iTunes for now. So now I need the removable generic whatever. I need to go to disk editor. And I need to change the first byte, change it from EB to 00. I actually don't see any that are EB, but I will change the first byte to 00. And then I need to find the save button. Oh, that would be helpful. So now this needs to be 00. Do I need to click enter? Click out of that. So the first byte is changed to 00, but it won't let me save for some reason. So if the first byte is 00, how do I save? Okay. I don't know why I can't save. Oh, I need to open, change the data, change the first byte to 0, 0, then save. Return it to the iPod. Okay, so back down here. I get my SD card out. Now he says the battery's dying, so I'll plug it into power after I put the SD card in. But now he says I should be able to plug this in like so. Oh god, my sandwich is falling apart. Should be able to plug it in. I think it needs power. And it should do the second stage of the restore process. Which is doing something. Oh yeah, there we go. So it's doing the second stage of the restore process. So that will go. So the second stage of the restore process is going. And then, actually while that happens, I'll slide it out of the way here. So actually that finished, but I am going to get some alcohol on a paper towel here. And then I'm going to give this outer case a little bit of a clean so that I can laser it. And I have to measure where these logos are in the back so I know not to laser right over them. But if I give this a good clean, the shell is actually in decent condition. It's not perfect, but it's 20 years old. But I'm actually amazed that the display isn't scratched and that there aren't scratches on it. It's been dropped, but that'll happen. I'm just amazed that it's not completely destroyed with scratches. So I'll give it a little dry. I'll dry it off a little bit here. There's a little bit of scratches on the screen now that I've wiped it, but not bad, not noticeable if there were to be a screen in there. So that's all clean. And the iPod has actually done its thing. So I'm gonna flip it over quick. I'm gonna tape that back down. And so there. So now I want English. Actually, I have the hold switch on. I want English. And there. So it's working. I am going to shut it down. Put the hold switch on. I'm going to take it off charge for now. And then flip it back over, and I'm going to carefully get this click wheel ribbon cable off again. And then I'll clean the click wheel. And then I will sit down and design my laser file, and then I will record again when I actually start lasering it. So this click wheel isn't in the greatest condition. It's pretty dirty, and there's one big gouge in it, which, whatever. I wasn't expecting a mint condition iPod, but so this is actually very dirty. I don't know why it's not really coming off. This is just isopropyl alcohol. I don't know why it's not coming off. I don't know, I think that's most of it. I think it's just so dirty and so stained over time. And another way I can tell this is a Gen 1 is that the color of the shell is slightly dull and that these buttons are gray. And on the Gen 2, the buttons are color matched to the shell, which I really like, but the click wheels are expensive to replace. Considering I got the iPod for 20 bucks, I don't want to spend 30 bucks on a click wheel just to make it look a little nicer at the moment. So that's just about everything with the physical mods I'm going to do right now. Eventually, I would like to do... Oh, that didn't really stick. Eventually, I would like to do the taptic mod, which replaces the... Underneath this daughter board, it replaces that little speaker that makes a click noise with the taptic engine from an iPhone 7, I think. So it vibrates instead of clicks, which I would like to learn how to do. That went better than I was expecting, based on people's complaints on the way these red CF card adapters work, but that was actually pretty easy. So I finished with the laser. It turned out a little bit weird, but I don't mind it. It's kind of weathered like the rest of it. So now we can, well, I can start reassembling this. So the first thing that has to happen is this click wheel needs to go in. So there's a little channel right here. If you push down on the click wheel, this is kind of tricky. So, is it going? I think it's going. Yeah. If I keep pressure on the click wheel as I slide it in, then it should click in, and all the buttons are clicking. So now I have to be careful because you can knock capacitors off the board if you're not careful when you slide this in. So I'm going to be very gentle and try to just carefully slide this in. Sometimes if you take one of these, I think I'm binding on the, yeah, I'm binding on the battery. So, and it doesn't feel like it's hitting anything. So then, that's back in. Now, before you reattach the click wheel cable, to be safe, the screws should go back in the top. Just to be safe, because you don't want the insides to slide out and rip the click wheel cable off. So now that all the screws are in, I can line up this click wheel cable, carefully press it in, and then this snap ring. I'll use these pliers again. Actually, I might just be able to get it in by hand. Oops. I'll just use these pliers because I think it'll be a little bit easier. Maybe these pliers will be easier. I don't know. I just don't want to damage this ribbon. Okay, there's that side in, I think. And there's that side in. So now you gotta make sure that metal piece is seated in its little channels, which it is. And then these bezels can go on. I'm gonna get these little broken pieces off, and then this goes like this. And I think, oh yeah, those clips are definitely gonna hold it. Now make sure your hold switch on the plastic is lined up where your hold switch should be on the actual iPod, and then this should click in just like the bottom did. And that's it. Now it is flash modded and custom laser engraved, so I guess we get to see the battery did hold a pretty good charge actually. And yeah, these iPod minis are just a dedicated music player with not much going on. And now it should say 60 gigs, which is perfect. And then the stock firmware, you can use computer with iTunes and then load music on there. So that's about it.